Hi everyone. We have today Yash Keskar. He's got admitted to XLRI. Uh, he has created a record of sort by scoring a 99.984 percentile in ZAT exam, which is really high. He also scored a 98.3 percentile in the CAT examination. But I think because of his low ACATs, he didn't get a call from the top IIM. So his 90 plus in 10th, 78 in 12th, and 65 in graduation was what put him down. But that didn't stop him from cracking the ZAT examination and getting into XLRI. So he's just studying in Vivekananda, just passed out. So fresher sort of thing, given his examination when he was in the final year and managed his preparation along with studies. So let's try to understand from him how did he go about preparing. But before we go ahead, I would also want to inform you that he is a biker who has gone to Ladakh with a sponsorship from Bajaj. He is also an active skier. So with this information, let's go ahead and check out what he has to say. So Yash, how do you feel about the same?
Uh, well, surprising. I never expected that in the first place, the ZAT result. I was fairly confident that I would be getting somewhere. XLRI, not the first uh, belief.
Okay, so what were you expecting? So when you started preparing, were you really confident of cracking the aptitude examination, or what was it? I mean, normally students when they start preparing, they say, "I want IIM Ahmedabad only" or something on that. So what was your thought process during that time?
No, I would be truthful here. When I started my preparation, I did not really know of the system of getting calls and at what percentile or what there is a bias against, or maybe low academic diversity scores for engineers. I just really did not know that, and partially because both of you had been telling me not to focus there. You right now your focus area should be acing CAT, acing ZAT, or various other examinations. So when I started my preparations, no doubt it was to score the highest in CAT, and after that the getting into which of the IIMs, that would be a later stage.
So did you dream about the top colleges, or you were just focusing on the exam?
No. I had not. I had not.
Okay. So what was the college, and what if you don't get a good college? Were you prepared to write it again, or were you ready to take up any college you got this year?
No, I was prepared to write it again because I'm a fresher. I have nothing to lose. I don't have, in fact, whatever my lower kids were there, uh, at least 1 year or 2 years of work ex would have compensated a bit, not if not significantly, but at least a bit. And I had time in my hands. I could have given it even next year or the a year after that. I was prepared to write.
We want you to just run through your journey in terms of how did you go about preparing, maybe first for the CAT examination and then for the ZAT exam. So maybe you can start
My
up with CAT.
ZAT and CAT were not two distinct preparations. So I the ZAT score is based on a rigorous CAT preparation only. Throughout these 8 to 9 months, the single biggest area of improvement was DILR. I was not even able to solve 1 to 1.5 sets back when I started my first mock in the month of May, and it was only after that was only after sheer practice, maybe couple of sets of DLR every day from varied sources, not just one. That helped me to crack at least five in the final phases of the mocks and even in the exam. As far as cons go, many of my strategies or many of my problem solving techniques were much in line with yours. So that I'll give you small examples. The way you told us or the first weekend batch to just improve upon your calculations by doing small calculations. It's just as you're walking on the road, uh, observe the number plates of the registration numbers of the car and factorize them. So these are small little things which I used to do even before the CAT preparation, and that was attributed that was possible because I was enrolled in that UC mass, that abacus preparations in my very early life. So I had a natural flair for calculations. So quants preparation was the easy part. So what was not so easy part about the quants preparation was the unlearning and learning. Agreed that quite a few approaches were in line, but many of them were not. For example, the permutation combinations or the probability or allegation. I studied little of all these three topics, and unlearning these concepts from 12th standard and learning them again, doing the questions in a better way, that was a challenge. Uh, sure did that, but only in the later half of the CAT preparation. It was only in August or September did I realize that I really need to brush up on my quant skills, because I was, if I'm allowed to say, a way bit overconfident about my quants in the month of July, August. But when the scores did not show any signs of improvement, that's when I realized I need to change my strategy upon that. As far as VARC goes, coming from an engineering background, I always focused more on the technical passages, uh, questions which often involve what is the author trying to say. I always used to skip those because inferences would be my last preference. But after uh, after ma'am's suggestion that you need to really read, uh, in these 4 years of engineering, I'd really lost my touch of reading a fair share. Before, in school level or in college, 11 12th level, we all used to read, but in the 4 years of engineering, apart from the curriculum, very little reading. So again, to pick up reading skills and from varied sources, that that would be the key part in my VARC improvement.
Okay, since you are comfortable with quant, I will not ask you much about quant. But yes, one area that a lot of people find difficulty is the DILR section. So a lot of people find it as a nightmare. And you
Yeah,
are a person who improved from
experience
maybe
is it.
1.5 set to 5 sets. So I would want to little elaborate in terms of how did you go about doing it, in terms of the way you solved, and second is what were the sources that you use for preparation.
Uh, the way the first major thing I did was, in the calculations part or in the tabulation of data from the question, I sifted through which are the easy sets. So out of the 8 sets in a mock or in the test, as you said, there are two, always there are two easy sets which are very solvable. Two or three, two, three, or maybe four medium sets which can be solved but might be a little tricky, and two difficult sets. So those two difficult sets I altogether left. I did not even try in the mock. Yes, after the mock, in the analysis, I sure used to try that, and that's what helped me with the preparations. But in while during the preparation, after that, what I did was neatness. I improved upon vastly upon my neatness. uh, my DILR, I used to solve it like my quant section, very untidy, very haywire, half in my mind, half the data, half was not there in the paper. But in during the later part of my preparation, what I used to do was tabulate the data, look at the question, and within 30 seconds, I was fairly able to judge whether this was solvable or not. So if it was solvable, I used to fill in the data, and not exactly fill in the data. I used to work upon it, and even uh, in a particular set, there are always difficult and easy questions. So what happens with people is that when you arrive at a set, you usually see the first question only, and based upon that, you go about solving that particular set. But if a particular set has 4 questions, you also need to identify which are the easy questions or which are the difficult questions in that. So I went about it like that.
Okay. And so, okay, what were the sources that you prepared for DLR CAT?
The sources were varied. It wasn't one single thing, but the 25 mocks which are there on the Patrick 100 portal, that was the single biggest source of preparation. After that, Road to 100 CAT 2020, that you used to give uh, one or two sets daily. So that was more than enough for me to prepare in improvement in the DILR section.
Okay, coming to the verbal section, you said you had lost touch reading as such. So, how
Yes.
did you improve your verbal in terms of what were the areas or topics or sources that you started reading from? And secondly, how much time do you devote to reading and how much time do you devote to practicing questions from the books and mocks?
Uh, to be honest, I did not practice much from the books, from the workbooks that the handouts that were provided, but rather, as I'm told, might as well, if you have 1 hour, just focus that 1 hour on reading. You need not you need not practice from the workbooks. You can always do it from the mocks. But so I followed us advice and just gave mocks and used to read for about half an hour to 45 minutes a day. That was not a lot. I started when I started, it was only 15 minutes, and then gradually improved to 30 minutes or 45 minutes. But that was about it. I wished, in hindsight, I wished I would have read more than that. But it's okay. It's okay. The hindsight, hindsight.
Okay, and can you tell us the sources that you read from? Where is the
So
books or your online
yeah,
materials there?
the online material mostly was through aldaily.com, and that particular site, because again I was an engineer and I technical articles I was very used to reading, but the literature ones, that were the heavy ones, um, that took a toll. After reading for 15-20 minutes, I was drained. But what for it the basic purpose of reading was that in the CAT examination, the VRC section was the first one. So after 1 hour of reading and 1 hour of heavy reading, that should not take a toll on you. And because after that, you have to solve again 2 hours of DILR and cons. Uh, so that's the reason why I was focusing on heavy reading or literature reading more.
Right. Okay, and how many mocks did you solve during your CAT preparation? And what do you think is more important, mocks or practice?
Uh, I solved around 27 or to 28 mocks. Uh, that's not a question which is either or. Practice and mocks go hand in hand. But one thing, as many of my fellow students have also highlighted, is that giving mocks is obviously important, but analyzing them is more important than just giving a mock. Giving a mock without analyzing is just 3 hours of practice, nothing else. So giving a mock only is fruitful when you sit down, when you analyze, where you identify where your mistakes are, and then improve upon that. Solving questions, I would say, are more of concept builders. So I would solve questions first where my concepts were not up to the mark. For again, the permutation combination or the allegations or probability, those were the areas where I used to solve the questions first, and then I went moved on to the mocks. But I moved on to the mocks very early, at very early stage in the month of May. So after that, uh, solve practicing from the workbooks or practicing from material, that was limited. After the month of May, it was more towards the mocks.
So, yes, after this grueling preparation for CAT, how did your D-Day go on the day of the exam? What did you do in the D-Day? What was the strategy and how did it go?
The D-Day was a mixed bag. When it started with PRC, I really found it to be tough, because even after all that reading, what I had forgotten to do, or what my one major mistake was, that I had not read from varied sources. I had done my fair part of reading, but those were not from varied sources. And being from engineering background, again, I used to focus only on the literature article. But there are a lot of other articles other than literature, which do come in the CAT, and I was not very acquainted with them, and hence uh, my VRC section, that 1 hour, was genuinely not up to my expectations. ended up scoring a 50 in VARC. And but the most difficult part was the transition from VARC to DILR, because I know my strong areas were always DILR and cons before going into the test center. But what this meant was a, not so good VARC section would definitely affect your DILR and con section. That's precisely what happened. In the first 20 odd minutes, I was not able to solve a single set or single question rather. But better since prevailed. Uh, yeah, the 8 months of hammering in by you and ma'am, that don't focus on what's past, just leave that and focus on what's coming. So take a deep breath, have a 30-second break, drink some water, and then go at it. That's what I did, and that proved to be very beneficial. In the next 40 minutes, I was able to solve uh, four entire sets in 16 questions. So I got 48 marks in that, and I did not a single mistake. So no negative marking, 48 positive marks. I was very happy with that. Again, moving on to cons, uh, I feel I could have done a bit better at cons, but that's okay. I scored a 54. Again, 18 correct answers, no wrong attempts. So again, 18 into 3, 54 marks are scored there. In the end, I ended up scoring 147 and 98.3 percentile. Uh, that sums up my D-Day experience.
So where do you feel you could have improved your CAT performance? So which section and what could you have done better in the CAT day?
In all sections, that it doesn't really have to be pinpointed to VARC just because my VARC wasn't up to the mark. The VARC, my takeaway or my, if I'm writing it again, my improvement would be to read from various sources, not just one. Uh, Not only literature, but also politics and general awareness and a host of other things. As far as DILR goes, identifying the easy sets remains the key. And that's what I feel I did right in the later 40 minutes of the examination, because otherwise there was no way I could manage to solve four sets in the next 40 minutes. As far as cons goes, um, you really need to work on your methods, because as an engineer, or as far as the cons goes, you really need to work on your methods, because concepts can take you that this far. After that, it's the method, which method you take, because if you're uh, if you're with 10 students, maybe eight or nine of them can get the correct answer, but the point is who gets the answer the quickest. And the unlearning part and the learning part, that holds the importance for me.
So once the CAT was over, how did you go about preparing for the ZAT? You scored at 99.984 percentile in ZAT, which is really high. So I'm sure everyone would want to know, how did you go about preparing for ZAT after your CAT exam?
uh, I was on a vacation right after CAT, because after that 8 or 9 month long grueling stint, I needed that break. And before going into the vacation, I brushed up upon my decision making skills, and because that was one different section, and that was something entirely different from CAT and from IIFT, or for any other entrance exam for that matter. So I spent whatever little time I had with the decision making section. I did not write a single ZAT mock, so if that helps. Uh,
So what clicked, I mean, in the examination? So you went for the
the,
exam.
in the examination, the only thing which played to my advantage was there was no pressure, and I had some takeaways and learnings from the camp. Uh, right when I entered the examination hall and started, uh, I I did not have any expectations from the SAT examination, any for that matter. Uh, Compare that to the CAT, I had pinned a fair amount of my hopes on that exam, uh, and also the fact that I was I and also the fact that I needed to improve upon the number of attempts. I had seen in my CAT result that all of my attempts in DILR and cons had gone right. So I could take a little more number of calculated risks. And what played a huge role was uh, an ambiguity in the marking policy of ZAT this time. So initially, they suggested a +3 0 marking scheme for all the for certain questions. So I just followed the marking scheme on the screen, but I didn't realize that at the beginning of the very examination, it had suggested that this the same +3 - 1 marking scheme, and I went about solving as many questions as I could, and ended up solving the entire paper. I submitted. I went home feeling a little happy. But in the evening, when the news broke that there is a negative marking policy, I knew I had screwed up. But I knew I had done terribly bad. When the answer key came, and when I cross-checked my answers with the correct answers, that was when I realized all the calculated risks or all the tukkas, we would say, had paid off. And those were not mindless tukkas, but eliminating options, substituting options, or out of the two, you had to mark one, and I had anyway mark and come home. So it was that part which helped me get a 99.98. Also the fact that I had given I being in the final year, I had given my GRE examination, and I had prepared in the GRE examination, I had prepared for a fair amount of vocabulary. And in the ZAT exam, in addition to the VRCs, there are also a small number of questions on vocabulary. So the vocabulary questions were easy for me as I prepared for the GRE. That was about it.
Perfect. Now, how you were studying all this time, in a sense, you were in the college with your college exams, etc. Now, how did you balance your college time along with your studies? And considering that you're from Vivekanand College, which is Mumbai University, I believe that 7 semesters is a time when you have project work and you have college examinations, etc. So, how did you balance your time between your?
The balance between the CAT preparations and the college curriculum was actually a blessing in disguise. Uh, because if I had revolved my life around CAT, and as you had rightly warned about in the month of October or September, that don't make your life all around CAT. Find something else to do, and the college activities and the college project work was the perfect de-stressor for CAT, and the CAT preparation was a perfect de-stressor for uh, the college activities in the project. So it was really a symbiotic relationship.
So, when was a college examination? Just to understand, was it at a time of CAT or after CAT? What is
Yeah,
it?
it was right in between the CAT examination, and I still remember I had my college examination on all even dates of November. So right from 16th of November to the 30th of November, I had exams on every 16th, 18th, and I remember that CAT was right in the middle of that on 24th of November.
So how did you go about it? You didn't prepare for CAT at all in the last few days?
Uh, I had stopped giving my mocks around about on the 5th of November. After that, I dedicated myself to the college preparations. What I did was just to go through my previous mocks and previous mistakes, what I did, and improve upon that. I kept solving a 15, 20, 30 minutes on cons and DILR a day, maybe one set of data interpretation and logic a day, and a few 10, 12 questions just to keep in touch. But that was about it. After 5th of November, my preparations were very minimal.
So, I mean, during your CAT preparation, normally people feel dejected, scores not improving, nothing happening, and a lot of demotivation. So, just wanted to know, how did you keep yourself motivated throughout this entire period?
Uh, Again, the classroom sessions helped in that because we interacted with a lot of our seniors, and the one single takeaway from their preparation or from their CAT experience was whatever your mock scores are, whatever they turn out to be, don't be demotivated and stop giving mocks. Just stay at it. You ultimately, if you are preparing hard, your scores are bound to improve. So don't get demotivated just because you're not able to improve upon your mock scores, or even in the case that they are decreasing. uh, I feel that help. And along balancing college life and CAT preparations, it wasn't really that long a journey. Maybe in hindsight, 8, 9, or maybe 6 months, it would seem like a very long time. But if you start giving one mock a week, it isn't overwhelming.
Okay. Any last minute tips to the students?
Uh, you would obviously give these tips, but I would also want to reiterate that uh, just don't make CAT your whole life. Don't revolve your whole life around the CAT examination. In the end, you'll be doing better if you just relax and give with a calm and composed mind.
Yeah, thanks, Yash. Thanks for giving us the time. It was pleasure having you out here, and all the best for your journey at XLRI.
Thank you.